If we go to our all locations table view controller, we will see that here we have an array weather data, which is an array of CityTempData. So if we set this value, our view here will be able to show all the cells we need. So this value will be received from our weather view, which we just did together. And let's close this. And what I want to do is to create another mark here, call this navigation. And we are going to pass this all weather data to our next view. So where we are going to do this is in function prepare for segue, which is called every time we are going to have a segue. So we are doing preparation before the segue happens. Every time we call this function, it's a good practice you check which segue is being called. In our case, it's only one, but still we want to check what is the segue being called. So currently, if I select my segue here, I see that it doesn't have any identifier. So I'm going to call it all location seg and hit enter. And also I'm going to copy this. So my segue has a name all locations segue. So if I go back to my all weather view controller, and we can check if segue identifier is equals to our segue, it means that our destination is all locations table view controller. So I can say let view controller equals to segue dot destination as all locations table view controller. And in this case, I can say that my vc dot weather data, which is an array of CityTempData, is equals to my all weather data here. And let's run our application and see if actually this passing information to our new view is helping us to set the table view there. So we have set up all our locations here with the weathers. And if I click on plus button, you will see that we have this information already provided to us. So we have Cupertino, we have Nicosia, and some unknown locations with 0 degrees because we don't know what temperature there is. And in total we have 5 proper locations. So we want to also test our delete function, and we have written the code before, but we didn't have the chance to check it. So what we want to do is to get rid of these locations. So if I delete, you can see that it was removed from my table view here, but we are not sure if it was deleted from our core user defaults. So if I rerun my application now, we should have only 6 locations. Let's try, and we go here, we have 1, 2. So it wasn't actually deleted from our user default. So if I open it again, you will see that it's still here. So we need to look into our delete function, because apparently it's removing only from our array and it doesn't delete in our user defaults. So let's go ahead and look into that right now before we forget about it. All locations, and I'm going to close this part here. So let's go and use our navigation here, which is in our table view delegate and table view commit editing style. So what we're doing here in our table view function, which is being called every time we want to delete something. First, we remove our user from our weather data, and then we call remove location from saved locations. So if we go to this function and we see that we are removing it Now save location to user defaults. Let's go to this function here, jump to the definition. And here, before we do save, I want to print, let's say, save locations dot count. So let's see if this is being printed. And let's delete this. So this function is not being called because our print is not printing out. So we need to check why this function is not being called here. Temp location city equals to our location. I guess the problem here is that there is no city here. So anyway, let's continue debugging our code. I'm going to remove this print statement, and let's check here what's going on. So I'm going to say print temp location, and this is gonna hold our temp location, and we put comma and say saved location, and we put our saved location here. Actually, no. Here we want our location, so we can visually see how our comparison is working. So let's go to our view here, and when we delete, let's see temp, location, weather, and we have city. Okay, wait a minute, we need to filter down. So this is Nicosia, and apparently where is our saved locations here? All right, our saved location is empty because our I here doesn't, our location here, which we're passing to delete, is empty string. So it doesn't match with anything. That's why nothing is being deleted, I guess. So let me quickly go through. So next we have New York, West New York, London, Toronto. So all of them have city names, but our location string doesn't have a name. That's why nothing is being matched. So let's see who is passing our location name. If we jump the color here, and location to delete dot city. So let's see what is location to delete dot city here that we are receiving. Delete this, and let's pass our location to delete city here. And let me clean my console. We try to delete this. So now what's the problem here is that location to delete, what we are passing is an empty city name, because in our array, let me just go back to my other code. The problem is whenever we are creating our CityTempData, let's go up. Yeah, Here, whenever we are calling our CityTempData and we are generating this, our city name is set as an empty string. So let's do this. What I want to do here is to check what we are creating here, and I want to print city name, and let's put our weather view current weather.city. And you can see that our city names, two of them don't have any name because our API doesn't return any city name in our case. So when we save our location in our user defaults, there we have a name of city. But whenever our API is returning for that city, the weather, there is no city name. So in this case, we cannot delete the specific location from our user defaults because this doesn't match. Our user defaults has the city name and the weather API doesn't return any city name.